Hello, Happy New Year to you. Last week while I was away for Christmas, we stopped in Yorkshire and visited my brother. And here's some snippets from while we were driving and walking around Yorkshire. This is a place called the Valley of Desolation, and the waterfall's in quite full flow at the moment there. The water's quite red, it's tinted from the peat. I took a few photos as well, and today I thought I'd have a go at drawing one of the photos that I took out of the car window when we were driving around. I made some New Year's resolutions, and one of them is that I'd like to try and do some art every single day. This is my scruffiest sketchbook, which I'm not allowed to get precious about, and this is some of the work that I did yesterday. So I did a smaller version of the picture that I've just shown you. I used Stabilo woody watercolour pencils for the base and some white gouache and colour pencils on top. I then wanted to try and do something a little bit looser and faster, and I copied off a painting that I came across on Pinterest by David Parfitt. These are the colour paints I used in it. And then finally I was just wanting to doodle really. These are done with Derwent Drawing pencils and a fountain pen on top. For today's drawing, I've pulled out my Art Creations A4 sketchbook, and I've got these Roman Szmal paints out. And I've also pulled out my new set of Unison soft pastels. This is the Landscape 16 half stick set. This is the Princeton Neptune 3/4 of an inch square wash brush. I haven't planned this picture at all. I don't really know how it's going to turn out. But these are the materials I mainly fancied playing with today. I guess this is kind of one of my splodge and scribble paintings really, because I'm starting off by putting down paint roughly in the right areas without worrying too much about boundaries and things, or accuracy. I'll keep the painting part of the video in real time, just so you can see that it's not something I'm spending much time on. It's lovely being able to start a picture without stressing about accuracy or anything like that. It's just fun slapping some paint down. I did want to talk about one thing while I'm showing you the painting video, and that's that it's my 1-year anniversary of YouTube this week. Between Christmas and New Year last year, I had COVID, and I wasn't super ill, but I was just feeling a bit rubbish and stuck in bed for a while. And I decided that to make the most of it, I'd teach myself how to edit videos. I downloaded the InShot app to my phone, and that's what I've been using ever since. Once I'd got the hang of that, I don't really know why, but I just thought it'd be quite nice to make some videos on the art materials that I've got. I'd always used YouTube videos to help inform my choices for buying art materials. I'd look at other people's review videos. So I thought perhaps I could just add to that body of knowledge that's on YouTube. I was super nervous making my first video, and actually I still do get really nervous before each video that I make. So my YouTube channel this past year has been a mixture of art material reviews and really just my exploration of making art. Last year is the first time that I've really made a consistent effort to keep trying to do art. I haven't had any formal art classes, well, apart from a couple of days in St Ives about a month ago, and so I'm very much a hobby artist who's just enjoying playing with materials. I don't lay claim to knowing how to do anything properly. I'm not trying to teach anyone anything or give tutorials. I guess I'm just showing people what I'm getting up to. So I started making videos a year ago, and at the time I said I'd give myself 6 months and see where I was at the end of that, if I wanted to continue or not. And really YouTube turned into a lovely surprise. I've met such nice people through it, and I've been so uplifted and encouraged by the lovely comments that you leave. And I still can't quite believe that I actually have subscribers and things. I just want to thank you enormously for that. One thing that I found really interesting is that there seem to be so many of us in the same boat. So people who enjoyed art and stuff when they were a lot younger, and then as they've got older, they've got back into it a little bit. But it seems like fear seems to creep into the scenario quite a bit now. A lot of us have some really beautiful art materials, but almost seem to be a bit scared to get started with them. And for me personally, it's fear of failure and fear of making bad art that seems to paralyse me a little bit. I think there's a perfectionist streak in me which comes out with art. So a lot of my journey this year has been about trying to overcome that fear and just do the art anyway. So it's been really nice connecting with and hopefully encouraging a little bit people who feel in the same boat. So now I'm just giving a bit of thought to what I want to do going forward. I've had an absolutely wonderful time this year, buying lots of new art materials and exploring all sorts of things. But I kind of feel like I need to knuckle down a bit now and start actually practicing and trying to improve some techniques rather than just bouncing around from new product to new product. I haven't really figured out yet what that's going to look like though. Here's just a quick swatch that I did of all of the Roman Szmal watercolour paints that I used in the painting so far. Once the paint layer's dry, I use a Derwent Drawing pencil to add some finer details in. And I'll speed through this a bit now. So looking forwards to this coming year, one thing that I have decided I want to do is, instead of just having big art hauls often, I thought I would go back over the last year's art hauls and gather everything together from a particular art haul and review which things I've used and which things I've used less 1 year on. I think it'll be quite fun and interesting to take a look at that, for me at least. Another thing I want to do is take a closer look at my art books. I've got some really beautiful art books and I don't feel like I use them as much as I could do. I'd like to do more pieces of art based on either tutorials that are in some of my art books or just inspiration from them. And as I referred to earlier in the video, I've made some New Year's resolutions, one of which is to try and do some kind of art on a daily basis. And I'm not going to inflict all of that on you every day, but it's part of my ongoing efforts to try and overcome my perfectionist streak, which kind of holds me back from doing things. So I hope you'll continue to join me for this coming year's adventures. If you have any suggestions for videos which you feel would be helpful, please let me know in the comments, and I'm not promising to do them necessarily, but I can definitely bear them in mind. Next up in the picture, I'm adding soft pastels in, and again I'll speed through this. I didn't know until relatively recently that soft pastels were water soluble, And as I wasn't overly happy with the mark making I'd done with the soft pastels, I decided to experiment and use a wet paintbrush to go over some areas. I'll keep this in real time again so you can see what I'm actually doing. You can see that the water kind of darkens up and solidifies the look of the soft pastels. And then for the rest of the picture, I'm just adding in more details with soft pastels and Derwent Drawing pencils. So here's the finished picture. This is still quite a large size for me to work on, the double A4, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I've not really used soft pastels very much before, so that was fun. I don't know if you spotted the little mini sheep. I think they're my favourite bit. Well, as ever, and I genuinely mean this every single time I say it, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate every one of you who's been part of my YouTube fun over the past year. Bye!